Well, thanks for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Shegun Ajayi. Let's bring you the headlines. International Women's Day celebration. UNAU extol women's huge cultural, political and socio-economic achievements. Court of Appeal grants leave to President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu to inspect electoral materials used for presidential election. Also grants LP candidate request to carry out digital forensic analysis on beavers. And INEC seals victory of members-elect in the House of Representatives with the presentation of certificates of return. On the sidelines of the United Nations engagement in Qatar, President Muhammadu Buhari has called on Nigerians in the diaspora to support President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as he takes over the reins of government for the sustainable development of the country. This was at a town hall meeting with a selected group of the Nigerian community in the state of Qatar on the margins of the UN Conference on Least Developed Countries in Doha. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports.
I am very pleased with our representation here, Nigerians.
President Muhammadu Buhari told his audience that his administration set forward to in place credible, transparent and fair elections, which will conclude Saturday this week with the governorship and state assembly elections. He therefore called on them to support the incoming government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu so that Nigeria will continue to be the beacon of hope and prosperity in the African continent. The president acknowledged the noble roles that Nigerians in the diaspora have been playing in the development of the country and urged them to sustain the tempo. The Nigerian ambassador to the state of Qatar, Yakubu Abdullahi Ahmad, had informed the president that Nigeria and Qatar have maintained brotherly bilateral relationship since the establishment of diplomatic ties in 2013, noting there are currently about 7,000 Nigerians residing in the Gulf state and gainfully engaged in diverse areas of human endeavors.
I'm proud to inform Your Excellency that the majority of our nationals in Doha are professionals who have excelled in the chosen careers in healthcare, safety, oil and gas industry, aviation, construction and other sectors.
Speaking on behalf of the Nigerian community in the country, Dr. Arabo Ibrahim, a senior consultant, obstetrician and gynecologist, said he had every reason to thank the president, especially for restoring peace in the northeastern part of Nigeria.
Mr. President, I want to thank you immensely for a lot of things. I start with my own story from Mubi when we were chased out by the Boko Haram and the town was renamed. Today we can go there and sleep. The town is full of people. Now there is a lot of food and people come from neighboring countries to buy food in Nigeria, and we thank you for that. The election, as everybody have alluded to, is one of the best. This is an election where money has taken backstage.
We sincerely thank you for keeping Nigeria together. We thank you for your fight against corruption. And I also want to really thank you for your critique of African presidents that really want to stay in office forever.
The event was put together by the Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission.
Qatar is proud of what Nigerians here are doing. There's no field we're not excelling. But here's the thing, how does it translate to your home country? We have some of them that want to build capacity, particularly in the medical field, some of them in the food and beverage business, some of them in the oil and gas business, and we continue to ensure that they are part of the progress and development of their country back home.
During the engagement, products of some Nigerian entrepreneurs in Qatar were showcased. From Doha, the state of Qatar, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari is back in the country after a 5-day official visit to the state of Qatar. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that the president arrived at Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Airport, Katsina, about 5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. He was received on arrival by Governor Aminu Bello Masari and other senior officials of the Katsina State government. While in Qatar, the president participated in the UN conference on least developed countries, where he made a strong case for urgent assistance towards unlocking their potential and socio-economic resilience. He also held high-level talks with a number of world leaders and solicited for enhanced collaboration and cooperation in the relationship between their countries and Nigeria beyond his tenure. President Buhari, who proceeded to Daura by helicopter, was received by the Emir of Daura, Umar Farouk Umar, and other prominent personalities of the Asian town. While in Daura, the president is expected to exercise his civic duty by electing candidates of his choice in the governorship and state assembly elections this Saturday. Today marks another milestone in the calendar of women who are all over the world over assessing their gains. They're actually assessing their gains and pains with a view to explore new ways and techniques to improve on them. Momso Demian Dati, in this special report, looks at the journey so far for Nigerian women.
Before now, many believe their voices are only to be heard, but they are not to be seen. Even some jobs were considered exclusively for the main folk, relegating the female gender to the background and kitchen.
I have worked here for 5 years. Any other job provided for me will be better than this. My husband hardly provides for us, so I came here because I need money.
We are talking about 49 to 50% of the population of Nigeria being women. And how can you sit on the table without those people being represented?
But not anymore, as those glass ceilings have now been broken, giving women in Nigeria and other parts of the world wings to fly.
They have integrity, they have energy, they also bring capacity.
We have something that the men don't have. We can stand and wait and patiently see matters to the end.
Governance, engineering, science, technology, at the helm of affairs, women are making their marks. With the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Amina Mohammed, the newly appointed director G24 Dr. Marsha, Asa Brumi, Toby Amushon, and many more. On the political scene, women are daring to aspire for the #1 position in the country, and even at state levels. Talking about the likes of Binani in Adamawa, Beatrice in Rivers, in Niger, and many other states.
We need to become a bloc to be reckoned with. And until we do that, we can't expect to be given anything. We have to be able to take it.
Our women have gone on online selling, even women from the grassroots. These are ways, of encouraging our women on commercial basis.
Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
The digital gender gap comes with massive cost, which has shaved about $1 trillion from the GDP of low and middle income countries. Resident coordinator of the United Nations, Matthias Shimali, stated this in Abuja while celebrating the huge cultural, political and socio-economic achievements of Nigerian women. He said women account for nearly half the world's population, but only 259 million women have access to the internet.
Now, one of the many formidable women of this country, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, now heading up the World Trade Organization, once said that, quote, investing in women is smart economics, and investing in girls, catching them upstream, is even smarter economics, end of quote. This is undoubtedly true. Closing the digital gender divide will be smart economics for Nigeria and for its development aspirations. A second area worthy of investment is in digital platforms for women entrepreneurs. These platforms are key to bridging the gender gap in business and the economy. We must, as a next point, promote digital literacy in primary and secondary schools to enhance the employability and skills of young women.
Digital innovation and technology for gender equality and how it can enhance gender equality and women's empowerment is the focus of this year's celebration. His Excellency Mousa Faki Mahamat has applauded the closer to financial and economic inclusion the African woman has come over the last decade, recognizing the role digitalization is playing as core to the success of this agenda. Given the upward review of the number of women and girls' effective participation in the global digital space, the African Union is delighted to join the global community in celebrating the formidable contribution women have made in innovation and technological transformation. International Women's Day 2023 marks the end of the first 10-year implementation plan of Agenda 2063, which recognizes gender equality and women's empowerment as a cross-cutting issue in all its aspirations. United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, is recommending deliberate investment in essential nutrition programs to save 7.3 million Nigerian women and adolescent girls suffering from undernutrition, lack of vital nutrients and anemia. This was proposed in UNICEF's new global report on the day Nigeria joins countries across the world to mark the 2023 International Women's Day. Let's hear more from Olusheye Adiagbo.
Janet Ugochi is a mother of two. She lives here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. Janet is unaware of what nutritional requirements are, let alone meeting aids.
Even our children don't have food to eat at home because there's no money.
The new UNICEF Global Report on Nigeria puts the number of undernourished adolescent girls and women aged 15 to 49 years at 7.3 million. This is a significant rise from 5.6 million in 2018.
With this report, UNICEF has been able to spotlight a bit on the food and nutrition crisis. The report also makes it clear that without addressing maternal undernutrition, it's going to be difficult for us to address child undernutrition.
Titled Undernourished and Overlooked, a Global Nutritional Crisis in Adolescent Girls and Women, and issued ahead of this year's International Women's Day, the report also indicates that Nigeria ranks among 12 hardest hit countries by the global food and nutrition crisis.
It's with us, and it's possible for all of us to live in a world where we're free from undernutrition.
Janet Ugochi wants empowerment for women to ensure a better future for children. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Well, the Beijing Conference of 1995 was said to have given Nigerian women the impetus to fully participate in politics on the return to democratic rule in 1999. But what has been the outcome of this renewed push for active participation, especially in the legislature, which is the fulcrum of democracy? National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on the performance of women in the recently conducted National Assembly polls.
In the 24 years since the return to democracy, Nigeria's 469-member bicameral legislature has witnessed low women performance in each election cycle. From 1999, the number of women candidates that secure seats to the National Assembly has hovered between 2 to 5%. Attempts to have increased women representation through constitution amendments at the National Assembly and the larger political space failed. Both the Senate and the House of Representatives voted against the bill seeking to create 111 special seats for women in the National Assembly. Bill to grant 35% political party positions and 35% in the cabinet. In the recently concluded National Assembly elections, it was another poor outing for the female folk. From the results declared so far, less than 20 women clinched the seats in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. Among the casualties is the only woman principal officer in the 9th Assembly, who is the Deputy Majority Whip at the House in Kiruka, Onyejocha.
Looking at other crimes in Africa, like Rwanda and others, they had it part of their constitution, so it made it easy for them to have that number. The political parties are not bringing them more on the table. And also another reason could be even the women themselves. Some women are afraid, not like they don't want to come out, but some of them are afraid because of the volatile nature of what happens in the political space out there. And so some of them are afraid. And then also the volatility of that space. And then also issues of resources.
Record has, however, been set by some women lawmakers like Khadija Bukar, who has won consecutively for 5 times, and Benilar, who is returning to the House for the 4th time.
In politics, you know, you win some and you lose some all the time. So go in with a clear mind. As long as you're relevant and the people like you, you can sustain yourself in politics, because politics is all about people. Without people, there will be no politics. You need to be around when people need you. You need to be around to assist people, to listen to them, to counsel them, to actually be involved in their lives, not look down on them and, you know, use them only when you need them during the political elections and things like that, but always be there for them.
Breaking the glass ceiling may be gradual, and women are not letting up in the spirit of never say never. With the record of Patricia Ete as a former speaker, women remain hopeful that someday women lawmakers might again occupy the seats of the presiding officers in either the Green or the Red Chamber. Lami Ali, NTA News.
I concur with that, Lami. Let's go on a break. We'll be back.
Mommy, it is time for us to leave this place.
One of your earrings is missing.
No one will find it.
I'm not willing to take that chance.
Have a big plan, Mommy.
What do you want?
I want a senior position at Dubai.
If anything happens to me, go through the content of this envelope and check every single thing.
It's done. No one will ever find out the truth.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is empowering widows as part of activities to mark the International Women's Day. About 100 women in the Federal Capital Territory are being empowered with a token to ease their burden.
They all share different stories on how they became widows, but the bottom line is they all need one form of assistance, because standing alone can be tough. For Sybil Solomon, who has been a widow for 4 years, she only has one wish.
I wish I could bring him back. Because it's not easy, you staying with the children alone.
Sybil, like these other widows, have vacuums created by their circumstances. This is why the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is lending its arm of empowerment to them to commemorate the International Women's Day.
The International Women's Day is a global day for us to join voices with people around the world and shout our message of equal rights. There is need to recognize the plight of the widows who work tirelessly to stand for themselves. The unique experiences and needs of widows must be brought to the forefront, with their voices leading the way.
A token of 30,000 naira each was given as part of commitment towards alleviating their plight.
And for them to even remember us, we thank them, and God will bless them for us.
I'll use the money I get to buy millet to do pap business.
No doubt, it is a day to celebrate womanhood in solidarity and be hopeful for the light at the end of the tunnel in Abuja.
Sadly, world oldest woman dies at 128. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday will bring us details now.
Kenya is expanding the use of the world's first malaria vaccine in the lake endemic region where malaria is reported to have killed many children under 5. In 2021, the World Health Organization recommended the RTSS malaria vaccine for broader use after successful piloting in Kenya, Ghana, and Malawi. President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomes United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres to Kyiv on his third trip to the war-torn country since Russia's full-scale invasion. Guterres underlines the UN's position that Moscow's invasion of its pro-Western neighbor remains a violation of the UN Charter and international law, while Zelensky reiterates calls for a stop to Russia's nuclear blackmail. And UK Home Secretary Suella Braverman had unveiled radical plans to stop migrants crossing the channel illegally on small boats, acknowledging the government is stretching international law amid an outcry from rights campaigners. United Nations Development Programme says damage caused by the devastating earthquakes in Turkey is estimated to exceed $100 billion. The World Bank, in a report, also estimated that the powerful earthquakes caused about $34.2 billion in direct physical damage, but total reconstruction and recovery costs facing the country could be twice as high. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said death toll from the devastating earthquakes had risen to 46,104 in his country. A South African woman, Johanna Mazibuko, considered to be the oldest woman on earth, has died at the age of 128. The great-grandmother passed away from suspected stroke in her Joburg, Northwest Province in South Africa. Those close to her said she had ID documents that prove she was born on May 11, 1894 and grew up on a maize farm. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has granted the Independent National Electoral Commission the leave to reconfigure the bimodal voters accreditation system (BVAS) for the governorship and State House of Assembly elections. The three panel of justices, led by Justice Joseph Ikieg, gave the order in Abuja. The court denied the electoral umpire application seeking the variation of its earlier interim orders granted to Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar to inspect the electoral materials used for the conduct of the presidential election. The court, in carrying out substantive justice in the matter, affirmed that the interim orders were for inspection of the materials used in the election. The application of Peter Obi and Labour Party to bar INEC from tampering with any of the electoral materials used for the conduct of the election. The court, however, granted all the prayers of Peter Obi and his party. The order did not give the applicants the right to access the backhand server of INEC. The court also granted leave for the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu to inspect the electoral materials used for the election. With these orders, all encumbrances before INEC on the conduct of March 11 elections have been removed. The election victory of members-elect in the House of Representatives has been sealed with the presentation of certificates of return by the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
A journey of 360 degrees completed by 360 members, INEC giving them the gate pass to the House of Representatives for the 10th National Assembly after getting the endorsement of their constituents. Party and tribal sentiments aside, victory smile and the task of making people-oriented legislations topmost and best of the best is the target.
Working together with colleagues and all that, we will attract the needed development.
For the new president that is coming in, we need to cooperate with him and collaborate with him so that his renewed hope mantra will be actualized to Nigerians.
On a rather motivating note, I met Donatius Matthew, representing Kara Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, the Okada rider. from Okada to House of Representatives.
I was an Okada rider before I was appointed as supervisory councillor, after which I contested and won as a councillor. I held various offices politically before getting to this place.
Just a few meters away, I met Chimaobi Sam Atu. His social media account reveals that he was a bus driver before winning the election into the House of Representatives. Unlike Matthew, Chimaobi queries the social media version of his life story.
They say I'm a bus driver. I would say that what they're saying is not true, because they know that I'm going to take my people to where they ought to be. That is why they say I'm a bus driver.
Be that as it may, Providence was kind on them. With the presentation of these certificates of return to members elect in the House of Representatives, National Assembly elections being conducted by the INEC are gradually coming to an end. Gradually, because 46 by-elections will still be conducted, 11 Senates, 35 House of Representatives. From the International Conference Center in Abuja, Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo and his wife were in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, to celebrate his 66th birthday with orphans of the Northeast Children's Learning Center. This is the second time the celebration of the Vice President's birthday is held in Maiduguri among the pupils and students orphaned by the Boko Haram insurgency. We'll bring you a full package of that report in subsequent bulletin. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari is rejoicing with his second-in-command, Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, on the occasion of his 66th birthday this Wednesday, 8th of March. The President equally facilitates with the entire Osinbajo family, wishing them many happy returns as their son, husband and father turns another year in good health and sound mind. He applauds the deft way Osinbajo, a pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God, has combined scholarship with governance and pastoral work, commending such dedication to the younger generation, whom the number 2 man serves as a torch-bearer to. Let's find out how Thursday's weather will fare. That's the news. Thank you very much for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Shagun Ajayi. Bye.